Welcome to HGC Europe. We hope that you're having a happy Saturday. My name is Trixler and I'm joined by Caldor over here on the left. Caldor, how's your Saturday going?
Good, great so far. Good games coming up. Had great games yesterday. Hyped.
Good and simple, easy mode. Now, today I hope that you're looking for a little bit of stability. We're going to be having Fnatic play today against good guys, and I'm hoping for that, a little bit of stability, because as of late, Europe's been a little unstable for me, and I need to find some solid foundation.
Yeah, we've been all over the place over the last few days, but today we have a clear favorite heading into our first match, going up against one of the newcomers. Then again, we saw the good guys doing quite well against Dignitas just last week, so maybe today they can also surprise us going up against Fnatic.
Certainly is a possibility. And let's go ahead and look at those standings right now and get a feel for where everyone currently is. At the very top, Fnatic still reigns supreme and hoping to continue that lead with a victory today as they are undefeated so far. Only Team Liquid taking them to a Game 5 in their second series of the HGC. Team Expert, though, number 2 right now.
Yeah, and well-deserved. They did really well in the games they played thus far. They only lost one series. And today we're also going to find out where the good guys stand. It's going to be a tough match for them, of course. They have a really rough start into the season, actually.
Yeah, they've had a very difficult start already for them, and they aren't going to have any favors today, as they'll be taking on Dignitas later on, which is pretty darn crazy. Or Zealots will. Team Good Guys will be going against Fnatic, which is a pretty difficult start. So let's go ahead and get ready for that matchup, because for me, the Team Good Guys, they're on the growing spurt right now. They're a flower. In time, they will bloom, but right now they're still a little bud, you know, just kind of growing.
Great analogy that
Thank
you have
man.
there. I think they're going to
one.
be very happy about it too.
They're going to love that one, the good guys.
The
Loving
flower
flowers.
boys.
That's right, the flower boys. The flower guys rocking it here. Let's go ahead and look at the schedule for today and all the matches that you will be coming or having come your way throughout the entire duration of the day. So, later on, we will be having Zealots and Dignitas facing off. And our new teams, man, they've had a rough start so far facing off against these really powerful teams. It's not going to get easier for either of them as they're taking on the top 3.
Yeah, and at this point, Dignitas is also going to have to show that they are still aiming for a spot in the top 3, because at this point, they are struggling quite a bit. They already have 2 losses in the season here, and this is going to be a bit rough for them. So against Zealots, they are still the favorite going into the match, but they really have to prove themselves here.
Yep, they certainly do. And Dignitas, man, they just want to make sure that they are still in that top 3, as you were mentioning. Later on, North America, Team Naventic and Tempo Storm facing off even in depth, and Roll20 Esports to finish out the day. And yeah, a lot of question marks around Dignitas. Just where are they as a team? Are they going back to their unexperimental phase, because they had an experimental phase last week and it didn't seem to work out too well for them, as they had really close series and of course a major loss as well. So we'll see if Dignitas today will come out fully swinging once again, because if not, Western Clash hopes might start to dwindle.
Yeah, they are already in a bit of a rough spot, and things have just gone crazy once the Team Liquid yesterday lost their series as well. Everything is up for grabs at this point. We have no idea who will go to the Western Clash. The teams are still trying to figure that out, and of course we are with them all the way. But first of all, we're going to look at Fnatic again, the mid-season Brawl champion. And so far, in this phase 2, they have looked fantastic.
Yeah, mid-season Brawl champion, hoping to continue being undefeated, while the good guys are hoping for a slight victory in today's series. Let's go ahead and hear from them about the entire match.
Going into the second phase of HGC, our first game was against Liquid, and we lost 0-3. And it was really hard to tell if we were playing bad or Liquid is playing good. But after going into the second game against Dignitas, we understood that we were getting better and that we can contest in HGC. Facing Fnatic, of course, is going to be tough, because they're obviously one of the best and currently the best team of the world. But we're going to have the same thought process going into the match like we had against Dignitas, that we will just try to learn as much as we can from the games, and hopefully we can take a game or 2 from them, because I think it's really important for the statistics in the long term. We don't have any specific goals. We just want to show our best game and just have fun while playing with each other, and hopefully we can achieve some great results with the team together.
I think Team Good Guys, going into this phase, we thought they would be the worst team out of all the teams. But seeing them play for 3 weeks now, I think everyone else disrespected them, and we're not gonna do that and take the game seriously, so we win it. Antihero as a player impresses me the most. I think he's pretty smart about heroes and can definitely show some cheese or good strategies that could carry the team. Shout out to all the fans. Our main goal for this year is to win BlizzCon, so even if we do bad in 1 or 2 games in HGC, our main focus is still BlizzCon, and that's where we're gonna shine.
The good guys not getting really a major favor at all from the scheduling so far. First week they had a face-off against Team Liquid, they got 3-0'd. Next week they faced off against Dignitas, who at the time we thought was still pretty darn impressive. And they went to a Game 5, which is great, then they get a victory over the Playing Ducks, and right away they have to play Fnatic. So luckily for them, they are getting their hard matches out of the way. It's just a matter of what can they pull off against Fnatic.
Yeah, and Fnatic, as we just heard, and also we heard last week from Quacknix talking about how every map counts. Already at the start of the season, they have the mindset that they want to win every game 3-0. They don't underestimate any of their opponents. They're really determined to make sure that they're not running in any problems later on in the phase when it comes to the direct comparison with other teams. So they are out for blood here already. And the good guys, nobody underestimates them anymore. And after their performance thus far, I would actually think that the draft towards them will also change. We saw them with a high focus on Illidan, and I would expect way faster Illidan bans now against them.
Yeah, gotta agree with you. And Fnatic are already talking about this match on Twitter, really bringing out their opinions about how this match will be occurring over the next couple of days. So let's go ahead and check that out. Quacknix himself playing the good guys in 45 minutes. So stop what you are doing. Go home, pop some popcorns, buy some Monster, and watch us play. So hopefully you are just filling your breakfast full of calories and lots of sugar, because we have a really awesome series about to happen.
To be fair, in Europe it's now pretty late in the evening, so it's not quite the breakfast there.
Not quite the breakfast, but still dinner. A nice dinner. Popcorn and Monster. Can't go wrong with that. So, the match about to come our way, I think I agree with you. We're going to have to make sure that anti-hero is anti-hero. I'm going to get that down for him. Is going to be locked down right away and make sure that Illidan isn't in the mix, because that Illidan gameplay definitely revved up for them pretty heavily.
I need to chip in here quickly. So, anti-hero, how the name is probably pronounced in German, has a really interesting name to pronounce if you're a native English speaker. And
it's anti in English, anti. So you say anti, which is a I, but it's anti. For German, yeah. Anti.
Not anti.
Yeah, not anti, as I was saying.
Yeah, exactly. So literally for days, and I'm not kidding you, every day we drive to work, he is basically asking me, so how do you say that? Auntie, anti-auntie.
These newcomers, man. Grandpa and auntie just throwing me off.
It is so awesome to just see him struggle and try to get it right.
I'll get it.
And auntie at some point just said, okay, you can just call me anti-hero. You just pronounce it in English, that's fine. But still, he's still asking, so how's the German pronunciation going again?
I'm going to get this.
Just because he wants to have it perfect. But for a native English speaker, it is actually so difficult because you don't have that at all.
Yeah, it completely throws me off.
You need to make new sounds.
I will make it work. Adopted Trixler European is going to happen. Now let's go ahead and look at the Battleground. It's time to get this series going. Battleground number 1. Infernal Shrines picked up by the good guys. Fnatic will be having first pick on the left side here. Brackus Holdout is not going to be able to be used, nor is Dragonshire.
Yeah, it's a good map to start things off with. And just to come back to the pronunciation thing, I can completely understand that you want to have it 100%. I had the same thing when we started with all the Polish teams, when we had Chichu and Żuf and all of these guys.
I'm glad they're not in. I mean, sorry, that's savage, but thank God they are not in the HGC.
So, pronouncing their names for the first time, I was also struggling a lot. And the only time when I finally managed to do it was when I met them in person for the first time, and I had them tell me to my face how to pronounce their name. But the spelling is insane. If you start with an RZ and then all of a sudden it's a sh sound and you're like, what is happening here?
I mean, luckily we don't have to say BKB's entire name. Do you know BKB's entire name?
Yeah, this is just, it's literally a face roll on the keyboard, so that's not a name. You don't have to pronounce that.
His face is oddly shaped with all those letters coming out, obviously. All right, let's get this started here. Game number 1, Infernal Shrine, Team Good Guys versus Fnatic. And as mentioned, Fnatic, we're expecting to come out here and ban out the Illidan. There it is right away. Fnatic wants to say, okay, Team Good Guys, what else you got?
I absolutely love that we are seeing this right away, because one of the things that really, if you watched the broadcast, you probably heard, it tilted me quite a bit was when we had a few teams in the past and just refusing. It was the Playing Ducks that just refused to ban the Illidan. They went for all the combinations of what they thought was the big deal with the Good Guys draft. They banned out the Vala, they banned out the Lunara, they tried to pick them away and then ended up facing a Greymane with double support and Illidan. And then when they finally started to realize we need to get rid of Illidan, it was already too late for them and the Good Guys walked away with a victory. well, of course, great start for them. But Fnatic, they don't make that mistake. They watch the games, they did their homework, and they say right from the get-go, Illidan, it's not going to happen. You guys carry too much with him. We can deal with anything else you throw at us. If you want to play your double support Vala, your double support Lunara, we're happy to deal with it, but Illidan, that's not going to be a thing here.
And Team Good Guys are indicating that they are going to be moving into those hyper carries here with the Ariel pickup right away. Lunara, Vala, all heroes that can be moved in, and they grab BKB's favorite warrior as of late, Stitches.
And as we heard earlier, Fnatic definitely respecting especially Anti-Hero as one of the players that has a really nice game sense and a good idea of how to play the game. But let's not forget that the main drafter for the Good Guys is actually Raid Boss.
By the way, Raid Boss has been one of my favorites to watch here at that long range, I guess, hyper carry type of style. He's been playing great no matter what you put him into in great slots. So we're going to watch for him. A bit of stable player for the Team Good Guys. Will it be enough to get a victory over Fnatic? That is definitely the question here. Now, Fnatic on the right side with it being Infernal Shrines, what do you expect to see from them? Are we going to be getting the mouthfeel at all today, or is it more of about controlling the Shrines?
What we see from Fnatic in the past at least is also their focus on globals, and the Haka is banned, and that's one of the main reasons why the Good Guys ban it out. Fnatic is a team that, even against Team Liquid, just drafted around the Haka, Falstad. They want their globals in the game because they are the best team currently in HGC Europe to abuse globals. And it's just fascinating to watch them, since everyone else is looking at the double support, and Fnatic just simply says, we don't need it. We don't want to play with it. And they're also the only team that still values Falstad highly. Nobody else does, but they're the only one who can actually pull it off properly. The interesting part for me is that already this deep in the draft, we have Genji not taken, and he's just about to be banned out here. So that's extremely deep for such a high priority pick.
Yeah, that was actually the point I was about to bring up, is seeing Genji get this far down, and it's kind of odd, but it makes sense when you look at the draft overall. The Greymane being picked up early, the Stitch pick usually indicates that you need to move into a warrior. A Nubrak being one of those that's up there you just grab, and then you can't forget about Uther. So Genji just slides on through to the ban phase and will not be in the rotation for our teams. However, Fnatic still has a great foundation. Ooh, and look at this. Fnatic answering back with Lunara ban. And we saw the Lunara play whenever Illidan was banned last week against the Ducks.
Melthiel is now taken. This is probably one of his best maps, but what you just said about Lunara, extremely important. Raid Boss played a lot on Lunara, and you can tell that Fnatic watched those games. They are not taking the Good Guys lightly. Oftentimes, when you have a team that is so successful and is all the way up at the top with a 3-0, you would expect them to say, Good Guys, yeah, easy win.
Yeah.
But with the draft alone, you can already tell that Fnatic respects them. Fnatic has looked at the results and said, yes, we saw what happened to Dignitas. This is not going to happen to us. We want and we need to win this series with a 3-0. We don't even want to drop a map here. So they made their homework. They ban out the Illidan first of all. They get rid of Lunara. And they force the Good Guys just out of their comfort zone a little bit. And I think this is a really great way to play this. But then again, they're still up against a very strong hero here with Malthael. Once his power spike hits on 16, having such a dominant position on the shrine. So Infernal Shrine is a great map for him as a hero. And
as you were mentioning earlier, that Falstad comes in for the mix for Fnatic, and they're going to pick up Sonya. So it's all about control, finding a fight, and moving in for the rotation and getting a kill right away. You have a Nubrak engage, you have Sonya damage, you have Uther lockdown, and you have Greymane. How will Team Good Guys answer back? This is where we need to see their hyper carry. Typically, it looks like it would be a Vala in this scenario.
But this is also already showing us that Fnatic, with the overlap that they have in the hero pool, is once again being a bit flexible. They drafted Greymane first because of the great clear on the shrines on this map. But normally you would see, oftentimes you see Quacknix on the hero, but now we are having Shrimpy playing him since we are seeing Falstad in the game as well. So Greymane definitely one of those overlap heroes where you have several players on the side of Fnatic able to play him on a high level so that they can still be diverse after taking their first pick.
Excited to see how that Wubby lane goes with the Malthael on the left side. Going to be anti-hero being picked up. It's going to see how that 1v1 goes. As we've seen Malthael walk away with a lot of fights, staying through, eventually beating your opponent through the War of Attrition. So Wubby being one of the best top laners in the game, I want to see how he handles that Malthael coming in. Now, where is that last pick? Vala.
Sonya is actually a really interesting matchup into Malthael. It's one of the matchups where Rimmerballer, for example, says that Sonya wins that trade if you play it right. But now we are having two top laners go up against each other that are exceptionally good. Wubby is supposed to be, from, if you listen to everyone, Wubby is one of the best solo laners that we have in Europe right now. but Antihero is also extremely good when he is on the solo lane. So this is going to be a very interesting laning up at the top.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard one, too, for the good guys. You have the 4-man rotation of Ariel, Tassadar, Vala, and Stitches. That means you're probably not going to be able to afford to send someone up to that top lane to help him out if he does get into a weird scenario. He's basically on his own until we get to the Shrine phase.
And let's not forget about Falstad. So he's the one who can really set up that gank. If at any point Sonya trades well into Malthael and all of a sudden both of them are low, Falstad can make that quick rotation, just move to the top and try and secure a kill.
So, looking at the draft right away, good guys getting a composition that they are very comfortable with. We saw them last week when Illidan and Gay get banned out, that they moved into the Malthael, and they have their Vala hyper carry. So, they've gotten what they want. Can they compete against Fnatic, who's been one of the dominant teams here in HGC?
It's a difficult question since, for me, I haven't really figured out the good guys just yet, how strong they are. We've seen a few games where they did look a bit more shaky, but once things start going their way, they really feed off those small victories and achievements and gain momentum, and that's what we saw in against Dignitas. But I personally think that after everything that Fnatic showed so far, they are in a league of their own. So I would say that at this point, Fnatic still walks away with the win here.
Well, we'll see if good guys can continue to improve week after week, as it's time to start game number 1 in this best of 5 series. Let's watch the good guys as they take on Fnatic.
Game number 1, ladies and gentlemen, in our best of 5 series here today between the good guys and Fnatic. And to the left, the German-Polish team with Raid Boss on Vala, Say on Tassadar, BKB on Stitches, trying to ignore him in the country names here, Kronos on the Oriel, and Antihero on Malthael.
On the right side, in the red, it will be Fnatic. We're going to have Wubby playing Sonya, Breeze on a new Barak, Quatnix on Falstad, Smexy playing Uther, and Schwimpy, as you stated, on the Greymane.
Yeah, it was such a BM move by me, just naming 2 of the countries that they have over there with Poland and Germany, but they have a lot more in the lineup, Switzerland as well. And if I'm not mistaken, BKB is actually from Denmark, but living in Latvia.
Dare you, Kaldor?
Yeah, I know, right? It's really ignorant for me, and I apologize profusely.
It's okay. I'll let it slide this time, but next time, we're not talking for at least an hour. You're going in timeout. So, Team Good Guys and Fnatic going at it.
Where does BKB live again?
He lives in a country. See, that's what you do when you don't know. You just go with the whole generalization of something.
You just should have gone full American. You should have been Europe.
He lives outside the U.S. That's where he lives.
In which country does he live? Europe.
Oh, Antihero getting away. This is going to kill me all day, but I'm going to get this right, man. Just for him.
At this point, this is the problem that I mentioned during the draft. If you have the solo lane against the Sonya, you already have to fight quite a bit, and then you have the Falstad against you. And what they're doing at this point, they're just trying to get Anti low so that he's definitely going to lose the lane. If they can secure the kill, that's even better. But if they have a chance now to just get him low, that's already half the battle for Sonya.
But the good guys respond well. They put Tassadar on the bottom, and they put the other 3 here, the Ariel, the Stitches, and the Vala in the middle, and they break down the wall and get a turret.
This little trick is, by the way, something that if you play in an amateur team, you can do that yourself. If you are playing with a Falstad at some point or with any other global that wants to be in the 4-man rotation, you can just hide up at the solo lane with your solo laner and you put some extra free damage on the opponent's solo lane hero. Once you've done that, you can simply rotate to the rest of your team and your own solo laner will always have a much better position on that lane just because of the original or the initial damage that you put onto your opponent.
Yeah, certainly can do so. And hang on, Breeze comes in for an engage, but the helping hand from BKB will keep Kronos alive. Here comes Quatnix as well, but the good guys do get away from the fight. And back to your original point with the putting the pressure on the top laner, your major win in that scenario is getting the opponent to tap the well first. If they tap the well first, your solo laner has a major advantage.
Exactly, and if they don't tap, then they have to play way more careful. There's a lot of dynamics that go into this. Once again, we have up at the top now, Wubby moving in, waiting very long for the spear here, but misses it after all, and the rotation of the good guys has started too, so they just moved up to the top and made sure that Malthael would not fall.
I can't believe Anti actually lived with that. That was pretty crazy. Now the good guys, they have a nice lead on the Shrine here, 20-6. Which they are really pushing forward here. Greymane in the bottom lane already, so it looks like Fnatic is willing. Ooh, big hook coming out. Hitting on top of Smexy. Can they get a kill? Anti comes in for the block. Smexy gets low. And Fnatic will be the first one to lose a member as Team Good Guys gets first blood.
Well played by the good guys. Great hook that we saw there. But they were already willing to give up the Punisher. You could tell, because Fnatic has now an entire level lead. That's the full idea behind this. So The thought process here was give up the first Punisher, try to delay it, but soak the rest of the lanes, and with that experience lead, they feel they will be able to trade well. So Greymane is getting the value at the bot lane, but another hook here. Breeze in a bit of trouble, moves out and gets away. Good guys definitely applying pressure this early on.
They certainly are, and with that kill, they were actually able to mitigate that experience lead Fnatic got, and they moved Anti up to the top lane and got the soak, as well as Tassadar to the bottom. So they soaked 2 lanes, got a fort, got a kill, and this all nets them a lead here, as they're about to hit level 7 over Fnatic.
Now this is where the good guys have to be careful. We've seen this happen already a few times. As Trick played against Fnatic, we had a similar situation where in the early game, Trick did really well. But once Fnatic hit level 10, they just took team fights in such a convincing fashion that Trick did never even get a chance to get back into the game. So the good guys need to be aware of this. Right now they're taking the lead here and they're playing this well. Their Malthael will also gain extra momentum later on after level 16, but they have to be very careful that once Fnatic decides to make these fights happen, that the good guys are ready for it.
Yep, they're ready to respawn, and one of the best things you can do is get the 10 first and then force a fight right away. Look for those hooks, see if you can catch Fnatic off guard. If not, move in, grab a fort, do anything you can with that small advantage. And that advantage continues to climb here for the good guys. They're about to hit level 8, Fnatic at 7.5, and they're moving in on mercenary camps.
Now, at this point, we oftentimes also talk, of course, about the healing deny on level 7 for Malthael. Now we have the cold hand on the other hand. It's a slow that we are now seeing coming into play, but Breeze is already going for the attack. Whoopi is moving in. It's a 4 versus 4 down at the bot lane, but as Falstad joins, he turns it into an advantage for Fnatic. But the good guys with great positioning go in. They get the hook against Quack, and that is the second kill. TGG on a row.
BKB just really throwing out fireballs right now, landing those hooks, getting kills for his team. It's only been 2 so far, but still they've been quite pivotal. And that was a moment where Fnatic brought all 5 members down to that bottom lane to fight this 4-man rotation. So Malthael was able to soak the top lane and soak the middle lane, and the 4-man can move in for a fort. There's a world here where Team Good Guys could push their advantage and get this fort killed.
Yeah, and once they have the fort, they will take an experience advantage that might lead into level 10 around the shrine fight. So this is a huge lead for the good guys at this point. Fnatic, they need to be careful here. This is definitely not quite what they expected. And Fnatic did their homework. Again, the bans that we saw earlier were fantastic. It really targeted strengths on the side of the good guys. But currently the blue team is really showcasing that they are much more flexible than only their Illidan and Nara play.
Yeah, I mean, this is only the first 6 minutes of game number 1, but already that stability I was hoping for isn't quite here. As Team Good Guys is definitely rustling the feathers of Fnatic. But here we go, Fnatic setting up a trap here for Anti here. Will they be able to get the kill? They do. 5-man on Malthael, and he falls instantly.
So they give up the Punisher, but they trade for the fort up at the top, and that will give them level 10. Tassadar went into the force wall, so we're going to see him attempt isolate heroes, especially after hook, but also around the shrine. And of course, we still have Fnatic in a position where they need to try and defend. Interestingly enough, no talent pick for Sonya yet. Usually it's Wrath of the Berserker, especially on this map, but keep in mind that Team Expert has taken the lead when it comes to Leap as the alternative heroic ability. It might be something that Whoopi is willing to use here as well.
Especially with Cocoon being available and set up for them, they're able to get that easy 5v4 to make that Leap even more effective. They can focus down a target. Chitinous comes in with a Mighty Gust, knocking people into his teammates. Cocoon comes out. Whoopi does take a Leap, but it misses out. Tassadar, though, does get locked down.
Tassadar is down. It's a 4 versus 5 in favor of Fnatic. The kill straight being used immediately afterwards, so they're moving back. But this is the momentum that Fnatic has, and as we highlighted before, Fnatic, once they are willing to take the team fights, once they say, hey, we have level 10, this is all we needed, that's when they're the most dangerous. And this is where the good guys need to be extremely careful. And if you think about it, the experience is exactly the same at this point.
Exactly the same here. But Fnatic in the mid game with their team fight, will that be the same for Team Good Guys? Can they handle the team fights that will be occurring? So far, the isolation works out for Fnatic as they get that pick on Tassadar, and they begin to open up the battleground. With that kill, they grab the Mercs on the bottom left and the bottom right side. They're pushing in the middle. Sony is off extending on the bottom side, and Falstad's pushing in the top. The next Shrine phase should be in a spot where Fnatic has momentum.
Yeah, so they can definitely gain quite a bit of momentum here, and especially with their global, they are attempting to set themselves apart in experience. This is Fnatic's strength. This is where they shine. Global play, having that map awareness and the shot calling that allows them to take these fights. But once again, the hooks of BKB. Shrimpy isolated and taken down, the 3rd kill for the good guys. BKB just doing absolutely fantastic with these hooks. they use it in a way that they just wait with a hook until someone on the side of Fnatic wants to disengage, and they immediately pull them back in. And that netted them already several kills from Stitch's initiation alone.
And Zay's force wall in particular really kept everyone out, made it harder for Greymane to escape, and that allowed the pick to hop out. So Team Good Guys in a good spot, but False at the meanwhile time has been pushing the top lane here, getting level 13, so experience still stays the same, even with that pick.
Zay is still one of the players, or probably the player in HGC that fascinates me the most, simply because of his story. Being an only Hero League player that gets picked up by a team and shortly after that makes his way into HGC is just absolutely fantastic. So it tells a lot about himself as a person, and he is just trying to improve and get on the same page with the rest of his team members who have a lot more competitive experience than he does.
Well, speaking about experience, Fnatic showing why they can be strong on a battleground even if they are losing out on the kills so far. They're pushing in the middle and the bottom, and they're going to get 2 forts, while Team Good Guys makes a commitment to grab the shrine at the very top. So they'll be getting the Punisher, and they can push in for their own fort, but the map right now is equal in terms of fort control.
We see Fnatic actually getting a lead out of this. Now, of course, the Punisher can change it, but what the immediate reaction was of the Good Guys after they see Fnatic move into the lanes was to try and take the fort at the top lane. The problem is they just don't have the push power, and Fnatic just doesn't stop. They simply move in and drop the wall at 4. Shrimpy making a couple of mistakes there, going the wrong direction, apparently trying to dodge the hook. They need to be careful. It's still a 4 versus 4, but the disengage secured by Quacknix. BKB still with a hook attempt, but without the fishing hook at level 16, this one just came a bit too short.
And Fnatic will be able to escape. Team Good Guys do finish up the Punisher on the top. Now, what is their call here? So far, Fnatic has shown that they are willing to split push consistently when the Punisher is up and available. And it seems the trend to be true. False is in the bottom lane, Sony's in the middle here, and 3 members are heading over the top right to start defending this Punisher. But if they slow it down and make sure they don't take too much keep damage, they should be fine.
It was just fascinating to see what Fnatic got out of this. They just dropped 2 forts. They are losing 1 at the top, but they should be able to save their own keep. And they still have extra experience thanks to Falset and Sonya soaking bot and mid lane. So at this point, the Good Guys, they want to take the keep. That will be the dream for them. And they need to get some extra experience to catch up with Fnatic. Here comes the initiation. Wall open up early. The hook comes in against Smexy. Great hook. He will have to use the Divine Shield here. Does it too late and dies.
Nalfield moves in here as well, hitting multiple people here with the Tormented Souls, getting them low here. Shwimpy does back up, so Uther is still down, but Bala was also taken out for Team Good Guys.
Killing Vala was absolutely crucial. Taking her out just meant that we have no damage on the side of the Good Guys. But Smexy with a bit of an uncharacteristic mistake here. Usually a complete staple in the team and really a pillar when it comes to his personal performance. But in this case, he wanted to hold his own Divine Shield too long after the hook, thought he could get away without it, and then just as he was about to use it, you could already see the animation come in. He gets killed and taken out. So that was a problem for them, but thanks to them eliminating Vala, it was of no consequence.
It makes sense why he tried to hold it there. The Stitch's hook coming out there, the Tassadar shield popping out, and the Oriole Tainment Strike seemed like it was all the CC, so he may have had just enough time to get out. But sadly, that small mistiming slowly hurting, but you're right, Fnatic will turn around and kill off the bullet. Definitely help them out. It is 16-16 for our teams. Raid Boss going in for the aggressive play. Quacknix will be able to fly away, but Hook comes out, hits Shwimpy. Detainment Strike, though, not knocking him against the wall.
Good fly by Quacknix too. Not flying too far away, just in the middle of his team, so that if they have to fight, he can still help out. He also holds Gust, so he can still use it. Might have to, actually, but Leap comes in, and Anti gets completely blown to pieces. Moving in a bit too deep away from Oriel, and Wooby does not only attempt to save Greymane, he sees a chance for a kill, and the coordination here was once again perfect. Leap comes in, we see Greymane turn around, curse bullet to the face, and then everybody focuses on anti-hero. So great coordination by Fnatic.
Mighty Gust keep everyone out too as well. Great job here by Fnatic, and they will go ahead and push out their lanes. The middle is the only one that they have pressure coming in from the mercenary camps. And looking at Team Good Guys as we move into level 16 and we're getting that slam build online, this is the next shrine phase that's probably going to be a very huge indicator of whether or not they're going to be able to take this game and start moving forward with it and start getting into keeps. If Fnatic's able to move in here, take away this Punisher, and force a fight, Team Good Guys could be in a desperate situation.
Fnatic is playing this quite well, but I have to say, I am impressed by the Good Guys here. They are doing so much better than a lot of teams that have faced Fnatic thus far. So this is an impressive performance. Sometimes a bit too over-eager, as we just saw from Malthael, but overall it is still very strong here. Let's not forget that by now, Malthael is on level 16. He doesn't have his quest talent on level 4 completed yet, but the 16 power spike is still strong.
And the hooks continue to land. Breeze gets hit here. Force wall is a little bit too late, but they're able to move forward, the good guys that is, and start burning down their own shrine. Fawcett has rotated in. This will be a 5v5 for Fnatic. The Force Wall comes out, and Quacknix will have to barrel roll away.
That was a bit of an unfortunate move here. Force Wall comes out as BKB uses Putrid Bile, so he doesn't get the full value out, but he still has it on the shrine, so it's not for nothing. We still have, of course, no initiation from Malthael. Tormented Soul hasn't been used yet. BKB gets attacked. Here comes the Aegis, but BKB still falling. Fnatic forcing the kill. Cocoon comes in. Leap as well.
They get the kill. Cocoon being set up here. Smex on the side here for the stun. Antihero does move in for the fight, though, and he has spread out his Tormented Souls. People are getting low, and they're getting burned down. Can Auntie live through it all? He gets the blink over the Tassadar shield at the same time. Wubby trying to take out Kronos, but they heal. It pops.
Yeah, Anubarak is dead. Wubby might fall too now. That's 2 of the frontliners already gone. It was a good kill against Vala, though. Raid Force was so deep, and Auriel keeping him alive, but Antihero is in trouble, and he dies. Kronos himself also extremely low. Tries to move away here. And we have Tassadar body blocking Smexy, so he can't get close enough to Auriel. But Tassadar is not out of it just yet. Stun comes in, Quacknix wants to kill, and they get it.
And they also get the Punisher. I want to call it Schwimpy and Quacknix there. The coordination was perfect. They turned around with a Cursed Bullet, they hit Malthael, and then immediately Quacknix followed up with the hammering into the Boomerang. Brought out the maximum damage, and they bursted that Malthael down, which allowed for them to turn around, win this team fight, and win the Punisher.
Also, one of the things that we've talked about for quite a long time is Quacknix on Fawcett and his tendency to go into the Erigas on 13 over the Giant Killer. And I mentioned it the last time that we saw them, that he by now is more experimenting with Giant Killer, especially against hit point heavy tanks, which is the norm on other teams. And this is what we are seeing from here in this game. He goes up against the Stitches, he's up against the Malthael, so in this case he makes the adjustment.
Adjustment paying off for them as they win the Punisher and get the fight, and they also put themselves miles ahead of their opponent. 19-17, already on their way to level 20. Sonya getting pressure on the top lane as well, and Fnatic, they're on cruise control. They have the entire battleground opened up, but they still have to be careful. One hook can change the pace of this game, as both keeps, actually all 3 keeps are exposed for both of our teams.
Yeah, right now Fnatic also taking that lead in experience, and what has made them so scary in this entire game was their snap decision making and their great coordination in under a high pressure situation. The kill against Malthael earlier highlights that really well. They were on the run, trying to get away the entire time throughout the entire bot lane, and then at some point Wubby sees a kill, calls it, and everyone is on the same page. Greymane, who's about to die, turns around, hits the bullet, Sonya leaps in, Fawcett uses the Mighty Gust. The isolation is there within half a second. It's absolutely insane how fast these guys can just go from running away into, guys, we gotta kill here. Those turnaround potentials are fantastic for them. And by now they have their level 20, and they will exploit any kind of weakness or mistake that we see on the side of their opponent.
Exactly. Team Good Guys need to be careful. That's what happened in the last Punisher. Stitches just by himself barely, just a few steps away from his teammates. Even the Force Wall coming out to try and keep him alive, but they still picked up the Stitches. Now here we go. Fnatic moving in with level 20, pushing in the top lane, trying to push with this Mercenary. They also have Wubby grabbing the other Mercenary camps as well, so they want to move in and grab a keep. That would be wonderful for them. Even getting a pick with Cocoon could be helpful.
Yeah, if they get a pick here, that would be fantastic. And for the Good Guys, the main objective, of course, is to hit level 20. And it actually works well for them, because the lanes are all pushing in against them, so they can quite safely move into these lanes and take the experience. They just need to make sure that Fnatic is, first of all, not able to get the keep, and second of all, that they are not making a quick rotation to try and get an isolation kill.
With multi-shot being available here, Raid Boss should be able to keep clearing out this lane. Just has to be careful. If he dies, that's the end of the fight for Team Good Guys. He's playing safe. Shields come out. Oh man, BKB hooking, looking for it. Barely missing out for Fnatic, and 20 is right around the corner. Team Good Guys, they can focus getting 20 here with this middle lane experience available and move in for the Punisher. It's just that Fnatic is going to have a leg up.
Yeah, they're still a bit careful here, the Good Guys that is. We saw Vala moving way out on the top lane, trying to get the next wave, but then moving back, playing it safe, since they didn't have vision. And this is one of the things that's oftentimes a bit misleading when we're watching the game from an observer's perspective. Playing around vision is incredibly important. Here comes the attack against BKB. Tassadar is just now here in range to supply the shield. Goes for it immediately, and they start to move in. Hook does not connect. Fnatic push back, but they still have the lead. The problem is that Smex is isolated once again.
He's isolated again. He gets picked off. Cocoon comes out, but it's too late, and Antihero will be saved. And now everyone from Team Good Guys can turn around and look at the Punisher. They are tied 19-19 in terms of actual minions. Oh, Quacknix gets grabbed and gets put against the wall.
BKB with the blind hooks. Again, it gets it in against Volstad, and that's a great kill. Fnatic immediately retreating since they know they have to give this one up. Prismatic Link has also been taken by Xay, so they are having even more wave clear on the Shrine. And this is fantastic for the good guys. They have a really good shot at eliminating the keep. If they can get more, they might move for the core.
The newcomers, man, really bringing it here against Fnatic. 30 seconds before we have a Falset up on the field. They should push aggressively here as there is no disengage available for Fnatic. And if they play near each other, Tassadar in particular, they can shield off the Cursed Bullet and be in a solid spot. Just make sure not to group too much for that leap. In fact, they're moving in. They're looking at a core.
Yeah, that pull of the Punisher to the top did nothing for Fnatic. At this point, we're having the Punisher just jumping in, and now they have to fight on the core. Leap comes in, and Vala is dead. That's the best thing they could have done. Auriel, too late with the old Uther going down once again. He doesn't have redemption. He will fall, but Fnatic is losing hit points on the core. They are down to 50%.
Malthael getting low. They keep shooting him. They keep killing him as well. He finally will fall, but the core continues to be taken out. 30% down to 20. The Mighty Gust does come out. Can the team good guys take out Fnatic in game one? Yes, they get the victory over Fnatic. The good guys with the 1-0.
Absolutely insane. The good guys win the last one again because of a hook of BKB, and then they get the kill. Also, the bait of the Punisher to the top hurt them more than anything else, because the problem that they had, the Punisher was while he was baited to the top, he was the entire time outside the range of towers and of the fort, so it took no damage whatsoever. While the Punisher was baited to the top, we just saw the good guys moving, take the keep for free, and once the keep was down, the Punisher, who would have taken a lot of these shots, moves back into the middle, is still nearly at full health, and all of a sudden that fight that they were trying to avoid at the keep, which was the main reason why they tried to pull the Punisher to the top, all of a sudden didn't happen at the keep, but happened at the core.
Yeah.
And that was the worst case scenario. Falstad was still down, came in too late for the Gust. They blew up Vala, which was exactly what they needed. And that was fantastic from them.
Yeah, imagine if that keep did actually have a fight underneath it with that Punisher. Suddenly, the Falset being alive the next 20 seconds to come in for the Mighty Gust and help out in the fight. In fact, let's go ahead and check out a replay. It's going to actually show what happened in those few moments so you guys can get an idea of what exactly was occurring.
So as you can see right now, look at the Punisher. The Punisher is just here at the outside, doesn't take any damage whatsoever, and the fort or the keep is already down by the time it moves back on. So we're having it at 91%, and the only thing that we need to be careful now, as we see Sonya leap. We're going to pause this in a moment as Sonya is about to make that leap. So here comes the Cocoon. Whoopi is already on the way, and just pause it here for a second. So in this situation, we just saw Vala die right over here. The reason why we don't see the Aegis is the Cocoon, which was used.
Yep.
So once again, the great coordination that we have on the side of Breeze with the Nubarak and Sonya here. So coordinating these ults. It's the main damage dealer that is taken out, but as we roll it forward, we can then see that it doesn't even make a difference anymore. We have the Cocoon immediately blown away. Auriel couldn't save Vala, but they still have enough damage. They go again for Uther. He can't use a Divine Shield, can't use anything here. So right now, it's just the Punisher wailing away at the core, and Fnatic just has nothing going for them. Falset comes back a moment later, but the problem is that his Gust just comes at a time when the core is already below 40% health, and you can't salvage the situation any longer.
Yeah, and I love that the call was made right then and there just to go fully onto the core no matter what. You saw everyone, except for Malthael, setting his auto attacks and everything onto the core. Malthael obviously using his skill shots there to make sure he gets the passive set up on everybody. What's it called? The
soul thingy?
The soul thingy on multiple people so we can constantly keep getting healed up. But all the damage was onto the core. That was the important moment for the good guys. I'm glad they made that call too. What's that?
Reaper's Mark.
Reaper's Mark. Yep, that's
it's still
what it was.
The soul thingy.
The soul thingy was on everybody, and that was a sick play by Malthael, making sure to move in. But again, the call was made, and that's what was needed here. Good guys came out today, and they were decisive on their maneuvers.
And again, so there's a few things that we still have to talk about, and the first thing I feel is BKB's hooks. Oh boy. I mean, not only the early game kills that they got, but that last hook, a blind hook against Falstad, just prediction hook and saying, yep, there's a good chance I'm going to get someone here. He gets Falstad, Falstad gets blown up, and that was really the beginning of the end. This was the moment when Fnatic already knew this is going to be rough. First of all, the isolation of Uther just seconds before robbed Uther of his passive of his level 20 talent, so he had no redemption up any longer, which came into play once we saw the core then fall. But just dropping Falstad there, that was absolutely fantastic for them. So Great moves by the good guys, and they take the lead against Fnatic, which is in itself just